Who's ready for your favorite video of the month? I love doing these monthly TBR videos, so we are back with another one for October. In case you're new here, my name's Lottie, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back. You probably know what we're doing today, and that is going to be picking out my monthly TBR for the month of October with TBR prompts from the prompt jar. This is going to be a very fun video, and it's going to be very fall themed because I love a little seasonal moment. As you can tell on my shirt, I'm in the fall spirit. I have my orange foam on my microphone in honor of October and pumpkin season. I also have a little pumpkin chai that I made with me here today. It's so good. It just tastes like fall. Wow. I love a little pumpkin chai, especially as a little afternoon pickup. So good. And today's video is gonna be a little extra spooky as well because I took all of my TBR jar prompts and put them in this little cauldron that I got in like a dollar section last year. I did this last year in my October TBR. I used the TBR cauldron instead, and I just thought it'd be fun to do it again this year, and we'll just pull some prompts out of here just to make it extra spooky and festive. I'm really excited to pick out my TBR for October because there are so many books that I want to read this fall. I honestly am feeling really overwhelmed, if I'm being really transparent with you guys, about how many books I want to read. I feel like there are just so many books that are perfect for this time of year, and it's just such a fleeting season, you know? Plus, like, September was still really warm here in the South in Georgia, and it still kind of feels like summer, but I'm like trying to force the fall vibes. And then October, November really feel like fall, but it's literally like 2 months, and then we're on to like holiday winter vibes in December. So I really am trying to like get a lot of reading done, but it's also just a busy time of year. So I'm trying to just take a deep breath, not put too much pressure on myself. I feel like this is a community of high achievers, and I feel like we all need to just like remember that reading should be fun. It's for enjoyment, not put so much pressure on it. Cause I know I get like this where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get through all these books in my TBR in the next couple weeks. And it's just like, you know what? No one's dying. Like, this is supposed to be fun, you know, like, let's just enjoy. So that's the energy I'm trying to bring today. Before we pick out some prompts for today's video and some books to go along with them, I usually like to do a little bit of housekeeping, but if you want to go ahead and skip to picking out the first prompt, I always timestamp everything out down below. So feel free to skip around. Okay, so first up, I usually like to reflect on last month's TBR at the beginning of these videos. So in the month of September, I picked out 8 books for my TBR. Of those 8, I ended up DNFing one of them. I read 3 of them, and I'm currently reading another one of them. So there were 3 that I didn't get to. And honestly, this is probably the worst I've done all year with a TBR. I'm kind of embarrassed by this performance. Like, don't look at me. But to be fair, I did read 2 books this month that were on my August TBR. They were like leftover, and I read them at the beginning of September. So I was just like perpetually behind on my September TBR and never really caught up. But that does mean I have 3 books back on the TBR cart. So we've got Crown of Midnight. We've got The Book of Autumn by Molly O'Sullivan back on the cart. This one is an arc that comes out at the end of October. And I Who Have Never Known Men is back on the TBR cart, sadly. I was so excited. I'm still excited about this one. I just haven't gotten to it. In case you've been following along, you're probably familiar. I am trying to read the entire Throne of Glass series this fall and winter. So as you can see, I'm reading Throne of Glass now. My plan initially was to read Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight in September, and then Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows in October. But I think I'm just going to adjust it. Again, I'm like, I don't need to stick to these arbitrary rules I set for myself. I know I shared that schedule with you guys. So if you're reading along with me, feel free to slow down if you want to stay with me. You know, we're here to have fun and read together. I think I'm going to switch it and try to get to Crown of Midnight and Heir of Fire in October and just kind of shift everything back a little bit. And that's all good. So that's going to be the goal there. We're going to try to get actually both of those books on the TBR this month. But other than that, I don't have any kind of hidden agenda on what I want to get on the TBR. And the last bit of housekeeping before we jump into picking out some prompts, I wanted to share my digital TBR radar graphic. I put this on the screen every month. If you're new here, I make a little digital graphic and have it on my iPad here so I can reference it as we are pulling prompts and picking out books. Sometimes there's books that are on my Kindle, on my Kobo, or audiobooks, or just other digital reads that are not on my physical TBR, but they're still books that I'm looking to remember and prioritize during the month. So I may be referencing this throughout the video as we pick out some prompts. But just to give you a quick rundown on what is on my October radar this month, we've got 5 different sections. The first section is new releases. So these are either books that have recently been released or are being released in the month of October that I'm excited about. So that's People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young, except I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this one. So I don't know, I might kind of wait on this one. We'll see. Then we also have Dead and Breakfast by Kat Hillis and Rosie Thor. This one looks so cute. It's like a gay vampire couple who runs a bed and breakfast, and there's like a murder mystery there. It looks so cute. Then we have Good Spirits by BK Borison. I'm not sure if this one's out yet. I think it comes out pretty soon if it's not already out, but I think this one's a little more Christmassy, so I might wait and read this one in like November. And then we've got Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. This one comes out really soon, I think October 7th, and I've been hearing so many good things because a lot of people got it early as a book of the month pick. And And then finally we have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This one came out back in July, but it's a mystery thriller that takes place the week of Halloween. So I put it on my radar for this month because it could be a fun one to read in October since it's set during October. All right, then I've got a couple of Kindle Unlimited picks on my fall TBR. So that's Phantasma, Funny Feelings, and Vicious. These all just look good to me and I would be interested in reading them. So they're on here. Then we have a couple of ARCs. In case you didn't know, an ARC is an advanced reader copy. So these are books that are not currently, actually, tourist season is out, but these are a couple books I got an early access ebook version of and still have access to that I could read like on my Kobo. So we've got Tourist Season by Bryn Weaver. This is the same author who wrote Butcher and Blackbird. It's a new series, looks so good and spooky for October. We've also got And Then There Was You by Sophie Cousins and No Matter What by Cara Bastone. The fourth section is just called Could Buy the E-Read. They are books that are on my fall TBR, but I don't have physically. So that's Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, Bunny by Mona Awad, Anatomy by Dana Schwartz, and The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. And finally, in my audiobook section, I have a couple that have stood out to me lately. So we've got Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. We've got The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. We've got All That Life Can Afford and The Dead Husband Cookbook. So all of these look so good to me and I've heard particularly good things about the audiobook versions. So I've got these on here too. So that's everything on my digital radar this month. Also, I know that Mate by Ali Hazelwood is coming out this month and a lot of people are really excited about that one. So I wanted to call that out in case you really enjoyed Bride. That one was not actually my favorite from Ali Hazelwood, so I don't think I'm going to continue the interconnected series, but I hope that if you really loved Bride, I hope that you really love Mate too. Okay, I think that's all the housekeeping. We're going to pick out 8 prompts for today's video. I also added some of these like orange prompts in here last month, and the plan is to pick out 3 a month in September, October, and November, just to add in some fun fall ones. So I'm going to pick 8 prompts total, 3 of them being the orange ones, and then 5 just being the classic white ones that I usually have. So without further ado, let's jump in and pick out the first prompt. Honestly, it's so much easier to pick out prompts in the cauldron because it is so open. Like I can really shuffle it around and pick one out. Should we start off with a fall one just to get the October vibes going? I think that would be fun. All right, the first one says a fall book set in a small town. And then in parentheses, I wrote Stars Hollow. So I feel like if you say Stars Hollow, like I do immediately think romance, even though it didn't say a fall romance set in a small town, it just said a fall book. So I do feel like there's an obvious choice here. And I do think that that is going to be If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. The cover of this one literally has a gazebo in the background like Stars Hollow. So I just really feel like there's not another option here. This one has gone completely viral this fall. I feel like everyone's been reading it and loving it. I've heard nothing but good things. The only negative thing I've heard is just that it's a little long for a romance. It's like 500 pages, which I will agree is a little bit long in my opinion. But the description of this one just says, get comfy with this cozy slow burn romance set in the autumnal glow of 1997 small town Vermont. Like, I just don't know how. I don't think there's anything else I can pick. I actually talked about this one in my video about all of the exciting new releases coming out this fall. This one came out, I think, back at the beginning of September, but a lot of you guys are saying that a lot of it takes place later in the fall, like November and December. So you can wait and read it later in the fall too. So I may wait and read this one towards like the end of October, but it says, my new next door neighbor, Cliff, seems to have everything figured out. Small town golden boy, check. Single dad extraordinaire, check. Hot baker forearms. I didn't notice them, I swear. I, on the other hand, don't at all have anything figured out. Trust me, I didn't think taking over my mom's dream bed and breakfast in Copper Run, Vermont was going to be easy. It should be a good place to heal after my divorce. But apparently, my scones belong in the garbage with my small talk skills, as pointed out by none other than Cliff. This just seems like cheesy romance goodness. It really seems like a Hallmark movie. I just hope that I'm not being lied to like last year with the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, because that book had no substance in my opinion. But I've heard that this one actually is like pretty good and people really like it. All right, prompt 1 was too easy, you guys. I like it when we have a little more deliberation. Let's just pick out a regular prompt for prompt number 2. Okay, one fell out. That's always a sign to me when it just falls out. This one says full name of the character in the title. Okay, so an example of this one would be like Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I've already read that, but that's like what we're looking for here. Someone's name in the title. I'm not seeing any up here. Not seeing any here. I feel like Frankenstein doesn't count because it's not his full name. That's just the last name of the scientist. I'm not really seeing anything else on my physical TBR that would work for this one. Let's look on my digital TBR. Oh, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Should we do that one? That's like the only one that fits this prompt. I really want to put Frankenstein on the TBR this month, but I'm pretty sure that his name is Victor Frankenstein, and I feel like it doesn't really count because it's just his last name. Whereas with Vera Wong, we've got the full name, and the prompt did say full name. So I think for prompt number 2, we're gonna go with Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I've heard amazing things about this audiobook, and I actually recently read Dial A for Aunties. I actually listened to it from the same author over the summer, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of the summer. And I feel like these like cozy mysteries / like old people fight crime is great for spooky season because it kind of leans into the theme without being too scary. So, okay, let's pick out our third prompt for the month of October. This one says a book with stars on the cover. Let's take a look and see what we've got. I'm gonna count this. This is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. This one has these little like glowy orbs all over it. If you can see kind of in the background, they're not like in the shape of stars like these lights are. They're definitely stars. It's supposed to be like a galaxy, I think. This book is about two souls who love each other in every lifetime and kill each other in every lifetime and then reincarnate and find each other again. So I think this one is a contender. Another one that has stars on the cover is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. And I really feel like I should read this in October. I feel like since this is an option, I kind of have to pick it, especially because I also want to read A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, which came out this year by the same author. I feel like we have to pick this one. So the description of this one says, a warm and uplifting novel about an isolated witch whose opportunity to embrace a quirky new family and a new love changes the course of her life. I think this is just like a cutesy, witchy kind of story. I think this one has a lot of like found family, and it maybe even just a little bit more like general fiction than it is super romancy. Yeah, it just sounds like a charming little October read, and I just feel like I have to put this one on the October TBR because this is just one that like it deserves to be read during spooky season. All right, let's pick out prompt number 4 for the October TBR. Okay, this is so crazy. Like I don't know how we get these. Okay, a book with the color orange on the cover. Guys, I literally talk about every month how I feel like every month has a color, and orange is my color for October. It's just crazy to me that we got this one because what are the odds? As a reminder, these prompts, they just say a book with the color orange on the cover. So it does not have to be an orange cover. There just needs to be orange, say it with me, on the cover. So let's see what options we have. Wild Dark Shore is definitely an option. This is like written in orange text. I've been dying to get to this one, but to be honest, I've seen some comments saying that I could save this one for winter. And because I have so many books that I feel like have fall vibes, I don't really want to force this one in the fall. Not force, like I know I'm gonna love it. I feel like I could wait and maybe do this one like December when it's like kind of fall, kind of winter. So I think I'm gonna hold off on this one. We've also got The Will of the Many. This one has some orange here. This is a book I literally got last year for Christmas and still have not read. And book 2 is coming out, I think, in November. So it could be good if I read this in October because then I could be ready for book 2, which is called The Strength of the Few. I've heard so many good things about this book. But again, I'm not going to lie. I feel like with this one, because I'm reading Throne of Glass right now or trying to, I don't really want to start a new like chunky fantasy series while I'm trying to get through that because I kind of want to stay focused on it. I don't know. I'm really interested in reading this one. I just want to be like mindful of not overwhelming myself with a bunch of series. Do I just pick Heir of Fire? So which is kind of crazy because I'm currently on Throne of Glass, which is book 1. I did already read Assassin's Blade, which is like the prequel. And then book 2 is Crown of Midnight, which we don't currently have on the TBR. And then this is book 3. But I'm hoping to read both of them. So maybe if we go ahead and put Heir of Fire on the TBR, we'll find a way to get Crown of Midnight on there too. Fingers crossed. I think I might do that. Because part of the reason I'm not picking, The Will of the Many is because I do want to make more progress on this series. And this is a really long book. The first couple books of the Throne of Glass series are all around like 300 or 400 pages. But once you get to Heir of Fire, they start getting quite a bit longer. Like this is like 550 pages. I know this is going to be a time investment because I really want to sit down and like take my time and read these. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Heir of Fire, which is a little bit of a gamble, but we're gonna try to figure out a way to get Crown of Midnight on the TBR too. I can't believe we're already halfway done. We have 4 prompts picked out. We have 4 to go. Let's pick out another fall prompt, one of the orange ones, and see what we get. This one says, a book from your fall TBR. I love this. Simple, straightforward. I recently shared some books on my fall TBR in my What to Read This Fall video, so if you haven't seen that, it's a great one to watch. The Secret History is a book that I definitely want to read this fall. This is kind of like the original dark academia story, and I'm pretty sure this is like a psychological thriller, which could be really fun and cool to read. We've also got Soul Searching by Lila Sage. This one came out on September 30th. I've been dying to get to this, but I do feel like we have quite a few different like like cheesy little fall romances on the TBR so far. And I kind of want to get like a mystery thriller or something just a little bit different on the TBR with this prompt. You know what? I think I'm going to use this prompt to go ahead and pick Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. The movie for Frankenstein comes out, I want to say it's like at the very beginning of November. So I really want to read Frankenstein for the first time in October. And it's so great to me that we have such a cult classic written by a woman. I feel like so many of the classics are written by men, and it's just cool. Especially with Frankenstein, like I feel like that's not one you would expect to be written by a woman. I also think this will be a pretty quick read. It's like 223 pages. It should be a nice, quick, interesting, it's kind of a horror book, honestly, sci-fi, classic combo of all three of those genres. But this is the classic mad scientist makes a monster story. I think in the age of AI and the future of like robots and like trying to almost like recreate humanity with artificial intelligence, it just feels like a really poignant time to read this. This is actually also my boyfriend Anders' favorite book ever, and it's time that I read it. I owe it to him. So I'm really excited to have this one on the TBR. If you guys want to read this one with me in October, I think that would be really fun. I haven't read a classic all year, and it's in my reading journal as part of some of my reading challenges and goals for this year. So I think I'll be checking quite a few boxes with this one. So I'm excited to get to this one in October. So if you guys want to see a reading vlog on this and maybe like watching the movie too or something, let me know because that could be super fun. Okay, 5 down, 3 to go. We've got to get Crown of Midnight on here, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty good about the TBR so far. Prompt number, what is this? 6 says a book you've been putting off. The TBR jar is calling me out this month. And you know what? Fair enough. I'm going to define a book I've been putting off as anything that has been on my physical TBR since 2024. So let's look at options within that parameter. Project Hail Mary, I got at the end of 2024, but it does count. Same with The Will of the Many. These were both like Christmas kind of books. And Lovely War. Oh, We Used to Live Here could be the perfect choice for this one. I've had this one on the TBR cart since I think last October or November. This was a really popular horror novel last year, but this is described as Get Out meets Parasite in this eerily haunting debut and Reddit hit about 2 homeowners whose lives are turned upside down when the house's previous residents unexpectedly visit. I've heard kind of mixed things about this. Some people love it, some people hate it, but it could be really nice to have a thriller horror kind of book on the TBR because other than Frankenstein, we don't really have something quite like this. What else has been on here since last year? A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And you know what? I'm going to keep avoiding it. I know I need to get to that, but like I'm comparing things to this one now. Let's see. Tell Me Lies is up there. I've had this one since last fall. Light Lark I've had since last year. Legendary, continuing the Caraval series. I've been avoiding that. Sorry, I'm not pulling these books out. I'm feeling lazy. Yeah, none of them are competing with this one. I think this is the perfect one to pick for October. If I don't read it this October, I'm gonna just need to unhaul it. I swear part of the reason I haven't read it yet is because I didn't get to it last fall. I've been putting it off all year, waiting to get back to fall to read it. So yeah, we're going to put this one on the TBR. 6 prompts down, 2 to go. Let's pick out prompt number 7 from the TBR cauldron. Okay, this one says a book that's been, oh my gosh, a book that's been on a previous TBR. Guys, this one is coming in so clutch here at the end. We've been saved by the TBR cauldron and by this prompt. So we do have several things we could choose from, but I know what I'm going to be choosing. And I think you probably do too. Just for some fun, just for the sake of it, we could pick A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. However, I won't be doing that. We could pick An Ember in the Ashes. We could pick Tell Me Lies. We could pick Us Against You. But none of them are getting picked because Crown of Midnight is going to be the winner for today. This book was on my September TBR. I didn't quite get to it. We're rolling it into October. And I know it's probably kind of annoying for me to be like plotting to get specific books on the TBR. I don't usually like to do that, but I think it's kind of like a fun little challenge, a scavenger hunt to see how we can get them on. And that's part of the reason I'm doing bigger TBRs for the fall anyway. So there's still a lot of room for the unknown. So I've got both of the next 2 Throne of Glass books on here for the month. I'm feeling solid. All right, guys, it's come to that time of the video. We only have 1 prompt left to choose. For the 8th and final prompt today, we're going to pull another orange one for fall. This one says, a book that feels like sweater weather. Okay, a book that feels like sweater weather. This is kind of hard to choose. See, I feel like sweater weather is more cozy than it is spooky. Sweater weather could be spooky. You know, cozy up and read a little spooky book. Like, that could still be sweater weather, right? I feel like Lovely War has sweater weather energy. I feel like a historical fiction, to me, is very sweater weather. Okay, I really want to read Play Nice. Can we just, like, make this work for this prompt? Like, is this sweater weather? This one says, an irresistible blend of horror, mystery, and family drama. Guys, this one sounds so good. I really want to read this one. Can we count this as sweater weather? I also think Accomplice to the Villain feels a lot like sweater weather. I usually like to read these in the fall. I read these last like September and October, the first two. So I do feel like this one really feels like sweater weather to me. I don't know. Also, the Book of Autumn, I was meant to read this one last month and didn't get to it. This one definitely feels like sweater weather as well. I'm conflicted. What does sweater weather even feel like? Okay, I think I'm gonna pick Play Nice. A lot of people were talking about this book last month because it was one of the Book of the Month picks, I think, for September. It's a new release this fall by Rachel Harrison. The description of this one says, "It's just waiting for you to come home. Cleo Louise Barnes leads a picture-perfect life as a stylist and influencer, but beneath the glossy veneer, she harbors a not-so-glamorous secret. She grew up in a haunted house." Okay, like, come on. Okay, I'm so excited. So I've heard that this is kind of like a blend between like a horror and a mystery and a lit fic. Like there's a bit of like family stuff in it too. And that just seems like the perfect thing for me. I don't like anything that's like too scary in terms of like a horror, a proper horror novel. So this feels like just the right blend for me. It's haunted house. I'm just super excited for this. I feel like it'd be quick and easy and bingeable and a nice little like spooky palette cleanser, maybe between some of the bigger Throne of Glass books. So this is going to be the 8th and final book on my October TBR. This is Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. Okay guys, all 8 books have been selected. I'm gonna tidy up and we'll do a quick recap. The first prompt that I pulled was one of the fall ones, and this one said a fall book set in a small town, Stars Hollow. So for this one, I chose If It Makes You Happy by Julia Olivia. This is a local author. This is a new release. Everyone is talking about this. It's a cute small town romance set in the 90s. What's not to love about it? The second prompt that I pulled said full name of the character in the title. So for this one, I chose Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Sutanto. I'm really excited to read another book from this author, and I'm definitely gonna listen to the audiobook for this one, so that'll be great too. Prompt number 3 says a book with stars on the cover. So for this one, I chose The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. This is just like the quintessential fall book. I feel like so many people have read this, and if you haven't, you've at least heard of it, and I'm super excited to finally read this one and see what all the hype's about. The fourth prompt that I pulled said a book with the color orange on the cover. For this one, I chose Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is book number 3 in the Throne of Glass series. This was a little bit of a wild card, a little bit of a crazy thing for me to do without having Crown of Midnight on the TBR, but we risked it, and I'm excited to continue this series in October. Prompt number 5 was another one of my fall prompts, and this one just said a book from your fall TBR. So for this one, I just chose Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I've been dying to read this for a while now, and I think it's the perfect time with the movie coming out super soon. So I'm excited to read this and see what I think. My first classic of the year. Prompt number 6 was a book you've been putting off. So for this one, I chose We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kleiwer. I have had this for over a year. I've been waiting to get back to spooky season so I could read this. So this felt like the perfect time to go ahead and pick this one for the TBR. This is a pretty quick horror novel. I haven't read much horror, so interested to see what I think. Prompt number 7 said a book that's been on a previous TBR, and thank God for that. So for this one, I chose Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. This is book number 2 in the Throne of Glass series, so I'll read this one next, and then we'll go to Heir of Fire. I was glad that I was able to get both of the next 2 Throne of Glass books on this month's TBR. I'm gonna have a full spoiler reading vlog coming out soon, but I'm vlogging my experience reading these books, don't worry. And the 8th and final prompt I pulled for the October TBR was another fall one. This one just said a book that feels like sweater weather. So for this one, I chose Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. This is a new release this fall, and it's got horror, it's got mystery, it's got family drama. It just felt like the perfect kind of sweater weather read, and I feel like I could even maybe binge this all in one day. It just sounds so good. So those are the 8 books on my October TBR. I feel really good about this TBR this month, you guys. I'm super excited for every single book that we picked out today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in today's video. Let me know in the comments down below what is on your TBR for October, and if you made it this far in the video, comment down below with the magic wand emoji so I can know who made it to the end. If you guys would want to see reading vlogs with any of the books that I picked out in today's video, definitely let me know. I think it could be really fun to do a Frankenstein video, and I'm definitely vlogging Throne of Glass as well, but anything else, just let me know if you're dying to see it. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you have an amazing October full of 5-star reads. I'm so happy to be like in the thick of fall now, really leaning into all of the fall reads this season. If you're new to my channel, be sure to click subscribe down below and stick around so you don't miss a video from me. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, and I'll see you super soon in another video. Bye everyone.